Today we're gonna make vinegar chicken. This one is sweet and sour, and it is so good and so easy to make. Here are the ingredients. Let's get into it right now. All right, let's go over the ingredients. We have 4 pounds of chicken thighs. These chicken thighs I put in the fridge overnight, exposed. No covering on them. You could salt them overnight too. Okay, so the seasoning will more penetrate the chicken, but I didn't do that. We'll be fine just salt and peppering them now. Let's go over the ingredients kind of in the order you'd use them. 2 onions. I just took white onions, but yellow onions, great too. And I just sliced them like so. Okay, about a 1/4 inch, but it's not too critical. 12 cloves of garlic, but I probably have like 15 or 20 here because these are on the small side. We're gonna use flour after we season our chicken to dredge it, okay? It'll help us get a little bit more color on our sear, and it'll contribute a little bit to thickening our sauce. Our sauce is made 3 primary ingredients. We have 1.5 cups of dry white wine. We have 1.25 cups of low sodium chicken stock, or no sodium would be even better because we might power reduce this sauce at the end and we don't want it to get extra salty. But low sodium should be fine for you. We have 1 cup of red wine vinegar. So this is like a very acidic between the wine and the vinegar. So we have 1 tablespoon of sugar to somewhat balance that out. But if the flavor profile is still too on the vinegary side, you should add more sugar. Okay, so it's about balancing it out. This dish is similar to flavor profile wise to chicken scarpariello, which also has these 3 main liquid ingredients as well. But it's different because it doesn't have the sausage, potatoes, cherry peppers, all that. This is its own type of dish. Part of it that makes it its own is this rosemary. So I have 2 sprigs here, okay, and 3 bay leaves. And then finally, at the end, we're gonna like braise this. After it's very tender, we will maybe power reduce our sauce, but we're going to definitely mix in 3 tablespoons of cold butter to give it a really silky finish, and we'll finish with some parsley. This is a super easy dish. You just have to follow the best cook on YouTube ever. I always prep everything the night before to make these recipes, you know, simpler for you that I could show you all the ingredients, but also simpler for me that we can get right into cooking. Now, I did leave 2 of these chicken thighs not trimmed, and you should always trim your chicken thighs. If you don't really trim them, because the way that, you know, these are all done machine, like processed and everything, they just leave a ton of the fat overhanging. So these are the 2 that I left, and I'll show you the difference. Like, so this one I cleaned up, and you can see like this one is nice. We just have the fat, a little bit of fat here, okay, the skin, and everything else is cleaned up nicely. Now this one, see this? Okay, so like if you were using this, like just straight like that, you would have a lot more overhanging fat, and you don't want that, okay? So like, let's just trim this up. Okay, just like that. Now you could save these fat pieces for something else, okay? But we don't want it for this, it's too much.
Jim, you just joked that you were the best cook on YouTube. I know you were joking, but I don't know. A lot of people don't understand that you're very sarcastic and sometimes deadpan.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic. I you know, in case you don't know, I was being sarcastic. Thanks for pointing that out, Tara. I've done that bit in the past before, and a few people were like, "You are the best cook on YouTube." Yeah. There was like, they didn't pick up on it at all.
Some people were like, he is an egomaniac, but he's right. He is the best. And I'm like, well, he was joking.
Yeah, I'm completely joking. What I'm not, thank you for mentioning that. Yeah. Something I'm not joking about is these bone fragments that you will sometimes find in here. Now these are like bone in, and they're still bone fragment pieces. So I would always recommend you look over your chicken, because it ain't good. You know, sometimes you'll get that and you don't want it. It's worse when you buy the boneless, skinless, and that happens, and then you're like, why is that here? But you know, for this, these are bone. So okay, these are done. By the way, the reason these look spotty is they've been in the fridge for 24 hours, exposed to the air, so it's drying them out. It's just sucking the moisture out of the chicken. Okay, so I should have dried my chicken out the non-skin side up, but it doesn't matter. I patted this dry too. Just pat everything dry. I have a parchment paper lined baking sheet, but you don't really need to do this. I also have my flour in a bag right here, okay? We're gonna season this chicken up, and then what I like to do, especially if I'm doing more, like I'm always cooking for my family, but often I'm cooking for more than 4 people. Like I'm just cooking a lot of food. So that's why you always see me using 14-inch pans and larger stuff like that. So I'll like prep everything. So I'll line everything up on the parchment paper, which is just awesome for something like this. All right, so let's season these up with salt and pepper. And so now the recipe, I gave the exact salt amounts, okay? You'll be set if you go with basically 1 teaspoon or so per pound. I'm using Diamond Crystal kosher salt, so a coarse kosher salt. You'll be set if you use 1 teaspoon roughly per pound of the chicken. But I like to just kind of eyeball it. I'm like, you know what? I got everything good on that side. Pepper. You know, break out your grinder if you want, but I love using I do have a salt box for my hot red pepper and my black pepper, and then I have salt box for my salt. And it makes cooking much more efficient and faster for me. So I'm just gonna use my clean hand. I mean, not my clean hand. I'm gonna keep my clean hand over here, and I'm gonna take a dirty hand to do the other side, okay? Now I'm like trying not to get my cutting board, but I'll clean my cutting board a little bit after too, for good measure. I got the chicken police over here, so that's why I gotta watch out. Okay, more salt.
Call me Officer Sal, last name Manila.
Yeah, that's good. That's actually really good. All right, so that's seasoned up. Often you'll see, like, recipes will say season your salt and season your flour. It's better to season your chicken. You know you got salt and pepper, the adequate amount, the right amount on it. If you do it with the flour, you know, you can, but it's easier this way. So I just put it in the bag here, just suck the air out of it, then close it, and now just shake it up, and you'll get it all on there. I normally just do this all on a plate. You know, it's just, for me, it's more of a pain to do it this way. I find that no matter how much I do with the bag, it's still missing spots. So get it all down. And now, when you take this out, still bang it up against the bag here. I don't want a massive amount of flour on my chicken. I want the chicken to kind of look like this, okay? Or even less. How much flour am I using here? I'm using an adequate amount to do it. So I probably grabbed about 3/4 cup worth. And you'll have some left over. That's just the nature of cooking, okay? All right, we're gonna continue to do this for the rest of them. All right, so I'm using a big 14-inch pan. Set your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, okay? I don't know what that is in Celsius, because why would I, all right? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I was never taught that in school. Put this on about medium heat. And we're using stainless, so let it heat up for a couple minutes before you put your oil down in the pan. And that was one of the ingredients I forgot to tell you. We're gonna use oil. We're gonna use 2 types of oil. We're gonna use a neutral oil here, so that just means like a non-tasting oil. Okay, avocado is fine. For searing, it's actually really good. And then we're gonna use olive oil later on. Okay, so we got our nice chicken over here with our, seasoned well, floured, okay? And avocado oil is going down right now, okay? I'm gonna do enough just to coat the bottom. This is chicken thighs, so they're gonna release a ton of fat as we cook them, which is gonna give us probably more fat than we need in the pan. All right, I'm just making sure every part of my pan is well coated. And then let's put our chicken thighs skin side down. I'm trying to get every inch of surface area here without touching them. It's not gonna happen, okay? I'm actually trying to teach you a good technique here. These should actually be a little further apart, but now that they're down, all right? If I try to put all the remaining 3 of these in, okay, these 3 more, things are gonna steam instead of sear, okay? Because if you trap everything together, it's not gonna do well. Let's let these sit for about 5 or 6 minutes untouched. If we heated up our pan properly, we will have no sticking, okay? Hey, I'm just breaking in here. I put a little bit more oil down. The recipe actually, my recipe, not the recipe, my recipe has a 1/4 inch of neutral oil. I might adjust that. I don't know if you need that much, but I could see why I wrote it that way, was to really make sure that everything is getting fried nicely. Now, the reason we're even doing this video here is the recipe has been very popular on our website, but we also made a video for this on Patreon back in October, and people loved that one too. So that's why, like, I want to just let you know it's been on there. And if you're not subscribed to the Patreon, check it out. You should subscribe because we do full meal videos there all the time. So in that video on Patreon, we made this, and then we did 2 sides with it. Too many people were liking this one, so I'm like, you know what? I got to make a video for it here on YouTube. But we try to keep everything exclusive there on Patreon and here on YouTube. So I got this splatter guard that's inadequate. I need a larger one. Also, if you're working on your stove, you might have better heat. If you're not, I would recommend that you kind of maneuver your pan every so often to turn it. I'm just gonna reverse it completely, just so the chicken gets cooked evenly. They've been going about 5 minutes, 6 minutes. I'll show you right now, and I already moved one, but you can see, if your pan was heated up right, they're just gonna move like this. There's gonna be no sticking. If you heat up your pan properly, this is what you're gonna have. If you don't, you're gonna have everything stuck and you're gonna be complaining, all right? So just always heat the pan. So now, this one was in the middle, so this one's gonna be super well, nice and brown like that. Yeah, see, that's like beautiful. That was in the middle, which is my hottest spot. So I can already flip that one. This one's good too. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. Just flip them as they're done. See, like this one's not as brown, so that could go, maybe mush it, move it into the middle a little bit. That one's good. All right, that's it. This is cooking. This is how you do it, all right? We'll do another minute, flip that one. Then we're gonna leave these on the other side for 3 or 4 minutes. They're not gonna be cooked. Put them in a plate, and then we'll finish the other ones. Okay, so all the chicken is done. I turned off my pan just for a second. See how beautiful the chicken looks? All right, I just put it right back where I had my already raw contaminated chicken, because it doesn't matter, because it's gonna cook still, all right? There's no such thing as cross-contamination in that respect, all right? Just so you know. There's too many comments about that, just ignorant comments. People just have no clue, like, what they're doing. So I just have to dispel that. Why would it matter? It's just gonna cook again anyway. Now, listen, I wanna get rid of all of this fat here, okay? So this is chicken fat and a lot of that oil that we used. I just wanna get rid of it. We have enough fat still in the chicken, and we're gonna use olive oil from this point. So all I'm gonna do is carefully pour this out. Okay, you can leave residue in there, it doesn't really matter. You can wipe it down a little bit if you want. Just wanna get that lip of the pan there. Okay, so here's olive oil going back in. Here are the onions, okay? So my heat is on medium or maybe even a touch lower. A little bit of salt, not too much. And we're gonna let these cook for about 7 to 10 minutes until they get nice and soft. Okay, so here are the onions after about 7 minutes. Okay, you can let them go longer than that if you like. Here's the garlic. Let me get a little bit more oil in there. Should have made a little bit of room for the garlic. I want to get nice color on it, so let me try to move some of these onions out of the way and get the garlic in the middle. Now, if you're wondering why I try to get nice color on it, it's because I want it to be good. I probably should have used even more garlic, because those pieces are very small. If your pan, during this process, I don't really want to put a lot of color on the onions. You can see there's a little color there. If it starts doing that, lower your heat or add a splash of water to lower the temperature of your pan. Okay, so you got a little color on the garlic. Some of them are good. Some of them need a little bit more, but that's pretty good. This is vinegar is gonna it's gonna go up your nose. So either way, don't put your face over it, but you know, it's just gonna like make everything in the room get vinegary. And then we're doing 1 cup of that red wine, and we're doing 1.5 cups of white wine, dry white wine. Okay, not sweet. All right, this is like 1 cup, so I can put a little bit more than that in here. That's a cup.
If someone can't have alcohol, can you just omit it entirely and just use more vinegar, or what would you do?
No, I definitely wouldn't use more vinegar. I would just use more chicken stock.
More chicken
okay,
stock?
more chicken
Okay.
stock, more water even for
Okay.
this step here.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Not more vinegar. It's about the balance of the vinegar and the sugar, which I got to put in. 1 tablespoon of sugar. It's about the balance of the vinegar and the acidic wine to the sugar ratio. Okay, so if you add more vinegar in, it's gonna throw off the balance.
Okay.
But you know, that's what cooking is about finding the balance. So like a dish similar to this, like similar flavor profile, is caponata. So caponata is vinegar and sugar balance. Most recipes you'll see, especially ones like written in Italy, you know, by someone there, will just be like balance it out to your taste. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's like it's all about feel with cooking. You know, especially with Italian cooking, like just. Yeah. People don't write down recipes or anything. They're just like, feel.
The other dish that we have, which I don't know if you ever did a video for it, it's the chicken agrodolce.
Yes, I did do it. I think that might
Actually, that's a Patreon.
That's on Patreon as well. That's another one. I did all vegetables with the sweet and sour, delicious. Agrodolce in general, you know, sweet and sour is just a really good flavor. That's what we're doing here. I want to bring this to a boil for 5 minutes. We want to reduce this concentrated. It goes without saying, but it shouldn't go without saying. I should tell you, I should say it. Take a wooden spoon, flat edge wooden spoon like this, and scrape up any of the brown bits. I think I was just doing it before and not telling you what I was doing. And I should always tell you what I'm doing, okay? All right, this is reducing nicely. It's almost there. I'm gonna give it like 2 more minutes. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes. It's reduced by about half, exactly 8.5. Okay, here is 1 1/4 cup of that low sodium chicken stock, rosemary. I said 3 rosemary sprigs. That might be a little aggressive, depending on how large your rosemary is. I'm gonna do like 2. And then 3 bay leaves. Okay, so that's been another 5 minutes. Okay, this is the amount of sauce I'm left with. It's not too critical here because we can thicken it at the end. And, you know, if you wanted to serve this over pasta, you can actually have it a little bit more on the thin side. I'm gonna turn off the heat right now. And if you were gonna serve it over pasta, I would do like, maybe like a capellini or something. Just do a whole like platter of capellini, then, you know, you put the chicken and the sauce all on top of it. So this is as simple as just putting your chicken back in here. Okay, just nestle it all in. Now in the picture, I cooked this in a cast iron pan because I knew that it would give a better picture because there's contrast in a black pan. But I do like stainless much more than cast iron, so that's why I'm doing it here with the stainless. The stainless is just an infinitely better cooking device than cast iron. And I'll go to battle over that any day. I'm putting a little bit of sauce on top of here. If you have an oven-safe lid for your, for your massive 14-inch pan, use it. But foil works great. We want this to cook faster in here. So chicken thighs need a lot of time to cook. They get really tender. You could cook them up to like 200 degrees Fahrenheit, whatever, internal temperature. You're not going to overcook a chicken thigh in liquid like this, all right? Unless you cook it for like 19 hours. We're going to put this in the oven for 20 minutes covered. Then we're going to pull off the foil, and then we're going to let it cook again for 15, 20, 30 minutes until it reaches that internal temperature we like and that the chicken thighs are very tender, okay? It's really simple, all right? 350 degree Fahrenheit oven. Chicken's gonna be like in the oven for 40 to 50 minutes, so you have time. I think this is a perfect time to do a vegetable. I got a pan here. I got a 14-inch pan, another 14-inch pan. Let's do some garlic broccoli. I think that'll be perfect with this. And I'm not gonna do it today, but this chicken would be great over like spaghetti or maybe thinner pasta, capellini, or mashed potatoes, or with bread for all that sauce. Okay, there's a lot of choices you have. But I always like to include a green vegetable with all the meals we make, okay? And if we don't do a green vegetable, then we're doing a salad. I'm gonna heat that up to about medium. We're using non-stick so we can cook right away with it. I'm just gonna coat my pan with olive oil. And then I have a lot of garlic here, all right? Now listen, when you're doing these vegetables, they're all the same. You do a lot of garlic. It's nice to do a ton because you can save it and then put it on top at the end for a beautiful presentation. Or if you're not into that, you don't want to eat it, you can just remove it, but then you have all the garlic infused, all the oil infused from the garlic. So we're gonna let this cook for a few minutes until the cloves get nice and golden. And just put the cloves wherever your oil is pooling. Okay, and while that garlic is cooking, get it nice and golden, here is my broccoli. This is a bag that I just purchased from Whole Foods of just the florets, which makes a meal like this even simpler. But, if you use a head of broccoli, this is probably the equivalent to 2 heads of broccoli. All right, Costco has the best deal on florets, the big bag of them, but it's always kind of a trek for us to get there, so we don't go there as much as we should because that's where the best prices are for everything. Okay, it's been going a few minutes. Let it keep going until it gets really golden on both sides. Okay, any pieces that are getting too colored, too burnt, or too brown, just remove them from the pan. Or lower your heat if you have to, okay? Heat might be a touch too high. I'm gonna go to about a 3 out of 10. But the flavor here from this is just so good. And the garlic then, once it gets this way, it's delicious. It's nice and soft and nutty and buttery when you eat it, and it's so good. All right, let that go another minute or so. Anything is too brown, like these two, I'll just move them up, pop them out. Okay, I'm gonna remove those. These are nice and golden. They're gonna be so good on there. But we don't need to keep them in right now. They look better at the end when they're topped on it. You already got all the beautiful flavor in there. So now if you like hot red pepper, put it in here because you're gonna bloom it in the oil, okay, in the olive oil. And I love it, it's like one of my favorite things, okay? Just about 15, 30 seconds. Now the broccoli I put under water, as you can see, so it's gonna splash right when it hits the pan. All right, now that's pretty well drained, so We probably need a little bit more water in here, so we'll do a little splash. About a quarter cup of water. Lid, tight-fitting lid if you can. This one has a hole in it. If you don't have a lid, like, use another pan. Just like turn it over. Like something like this. You just come in like that, you know, try to push everything inside. Or even something like this, okay? Like, and you know, if you don't have these, buy yourself a bunch of these. These are like, what, 5 quart, 8 quart? I don't know. They come in handy for all prepping and everything. As far as timing goes, 20 minutes just elapsed, so I just pulled the foil off the chicken. The chicken's gonna continue to cook now. It's gonna get, the liquid will evaporate a little bit because we don't have a cover on it, and the chicken top will get even more brown. Okay, I'm just pulling that off. It looks like we have enough water and oil in the pan here, but you know, if you need a little bit more, you can put it in there. It's not a big deal. I'm probably gonna put a little bit more in. I need it to steam. You know, it's not really steaming. So I just was talking to Tara over here. What do you like it more, for sauteed broccoli, you like it more on the hard side, but for pasta con broccoli, you like it more on the soft side?
Yeah, so if I'm gonna eat just the broccoli, like sauteed by itself, I definitely want it to be firm.
Little firm?
I do not like mushy broccoli, but if I'm making pasta with broccoli, the broccoli has to become soft enough to become part of the sauce.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's two different things.
Two different things. So take your lid off once it gets bright green like this, okay? All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna turn the heat up and try to evaporate some of this water, but it doesn't matter if we don't evaporate it at all. We'll plate it, we'll get rid of the water, add a little bit more oil, our garlic, season it up, salt.
It needs to be firm, but not crunchy.
Not crunchy. I'm calling it good. Turn up the heat. There's no water in here, it's all been evaporated. A little bit more extra virgin olive oil. If you're wondering what brand I use Partana and Frantoia. Those are the 2 extra virgins I use. You need salt on your green vegetables. All right, a little bit more oil because I like a lot of oil. It's really good on the vegetables. Salt levels are perfect, and then I would just sprinkle these all over like that. Now you have the most delicious looking broccoli. Tara, you're not looking at the broccoli at all. You're looking down at your phone. Okay, so it's been about 40 minutes, maybe 45 in the oven, but let's check our chicken. If you don't own one of these instant read thermometers, get one. Definitely get one, okay? It's in the description. I always link all the products I use in the description. YouTube makes it almost impossible to find the description anymore, so these people are always like, where's the recipe? Where's this? It's in the description. It's that little more button. ... more you have to hit. Anyway, this is only like $10 or $15 on Amazon. When you insert it, it's gonna give you your temperature. So it's like 200 degrees. So now that's like your check on temperature, but you can also just check it, like just get a fork in there, just make sure they're nice and tender. Because if they're not tender enough, you can just put them back in the oven. But these are good. So it took 45 minutes roughly. I didn't really time it because you don't have to time it with chicken thighs too much. Like you'll pretty much be good no matter what. So now the question is, do we want to keep the sauce thin like this, or do we want to thicken it up a little bit? You know, the choice is yours here. You could just mix cold butter in right away, or you can put this on a burner, which is what I'm going to do, and reduce it and concentrate a little bit. Okay, so listen, this is a hot pan. It's been in the oven, so be careful. Just keep a cloth on the edge here, so in case, like, you know, your son, your daughter, anybody comes by and grabs it, they won't get burnt right away, or they'll at least know. They'll suspect something's going on. All right, so I'm gonna take this beautiful chicken. I'm gonna put it in the platter here. Okay, don't worry if you get some onions in there with it. That doesn't matter. But we want to get this out of here so we can reduce this and we'll thicken up our sauce. This chicken is so good. It's so easy to make. All we did was just salt and pepper chicken, floured it, seared it, made a sauce, cooked it in the sauce. I mean, that's all cooking is, you know. Put that there for a little bit of garnish. You know, these bay leaves aren't edible, but they look really nice for garnish too, okay? So look, you got your chicken's hot, it's fine. You can keep it off to the side for a couple minutes. Heat to high on the burner. Tara, can you get me that cold butter from the fridge?
Yes.
Thank you. When I say cold butter, I mean cold butter, so that's why I put it back in the fridge. So after I showed you the ingredient of this butter, I just stuck it back in there. I have 3 tablespoons of it. Now again, I think I mentioned it before. If you want to serve that chicken's right here. If you want to serve it over pasta, you don't need to thicken this up now at all. If you want to serve it like just on top of the chicken, and want it to be relatively sticky and on top and maybe some bread, I would do this for maybe a couple minutes, all right? So I got my heat on high. We're gonna reduce this by about 20%, okay? So we're gonna go from 100% volume to 80% volume, okay? We're not reducing it to 20%, we're reducing it by 20%. All right, that's been going for about 2 minutes, so it might have reduced by 20, maybe 30%. So you could take your spoon, if you could pull a line a little bit, okay, and you start to see like the sauce separate away from it, you're getting closer there. You can also just take your spoon and just go like this, and then you watch the viscosity changing of your liquid, okay? Simple as that. Tara, you think that's thick enough? The butter's gonna go in it? Or do you want it a little thicker?
Oh, the butter's not in yet?
Not in yet.
Yeah.
You gotta mix it in.
It's an okay viscosity.
I like to have enough sauce, that's the thing. And I do recommend if you have sodium in it, okay, in your stock, like I did, you should check it, because if you reduce it too much, it might get overly concentrated. So we'll do that. We'll check that. I'm trying to teach you how to cook here, not just follow recipes. Delicious still. That's so good. Yep, that's good now. Okay. Turn it off. Make sure you still have your cloth on it, because it's still, pan is still gonna be hot from before. So I have cold butter. Okay, just do like 1 or 2 at a time, not much more than that. And then we're just gonna whisk this in, and it's gonna richen this up, it's gonna emulsify, it's gonna make the best sauce ever. And it's very easy to do this. Okay, once the butter is completely melted, add in more. We're gonna put in a total of 2 to 3 cubes. I suggest after 2 to 3 tablespoons, I meant. After you use half the amount of butter, I suggest you taste it. If it's too rich for you, you can stop at that point. Richness level is going to be dictated a lot about how much fat you left on the chicken thighs, how much fat you left in your sauce, stuff like that. I know I need more, so I want more. So look, here we go now. All right, this is our new viscosity level, like this. All right, let's check it out. Oh, so good. I didn't use all the butter though, okay? So I said 2 to 3 tablespoons. There's 1 tablespoon left. You can season this with a little salt and pepper if you like. There's enough salt in here, so I'm just putting a little pepper. I forgot to put the parsley on.
Oh.
Yeah.
It looks good without
I know,
it.
it kind of looks good without it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so listen, like, again, like cooking, do what you like.
Yeah.
Honestly, these flavors meld perfectly together, so I really think you could put the sauce probably on the broccoli if you wanted, though you don't have to.
Put the sauce on the broccoli.
You want it on the broccoli?
Yeah, why not? I'll let everybody know if it's
Yeah, if it's worth it. Let me give you a couple pieces of garlic.
Yeah.
Actually, the better garlic is from the broccoli. There's 1 for you, and there's 2 for you. I think I could have thickened that sauce up a little bit more.
I think the sauce thickness is fine.
You think it's fine? But chicken in general has been hit or miss lately, the quality. I always prefer thighs, because when you buy breasts a lot, you will get woody chicken, okay? Like, where it's like almost inedible. And that will never happen with thighs, even though thighs, again, aren't always great. This probably needs a starch, it needs a piece of bread, it needs some pasta, or it needs some polenta or mashed potatoes.
I think it does need a starch. And the sauce, by the way, is fantastic on the broccoli. So definitely do that. I think creamy polenta would be really good. In fact, I think is that what we did on the Patreon video?
We did polenta. Yeah, we did.
This would go perfectly with the polenta. The one thing I'm going to say is that I do think you could get away with less sugar. And that might just be my personal taste. Like, I don't like things as sweet as maybe some other people would. So it's not super sweet, but if you wanted to use less sugar, I think you definitely could, because there is a decent amount of sweetness. Probably from the vinegar. Doesn't vinegar get sweet as it reduces a little bit?
Well, I mean, you still need sugar in it.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it doesn't need the sugar, but
yeah, I'm not
think,
disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't, like, it doesn't matter what I think. That's Tara's opinion.
Yeah.
Maybe then, like, start with a little bit less. I personally don't taste what you're tasting, but people don't really care. Like, they want to know the taste tester.
Well, maybe,
because it is a cup of red wine vinegar.
Yeah. So
I mean, honestly, like, chicken marbella is one of the most popular, like, vinegar-based chicken dishes, and we haven't done it. It's not on my site. It's originally from the Silver Palette cookbook, which is one of the most popular cookbooks ever made. It has a cup of sugar in it, okay?
Yeah.
A cup of brown sugar. I used 1 tablespoon of sugar here,
Yeah.
and I believe the recipe has even less vinegar than I used. and people love it. So again, this is like a preference thing.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
So if anybody's concerned about using the tablespoon, you said a tablespoon.
It's just 1 tablespoon.
Yeah, if anybody's concerned about that, I think you could definitely get away with doing a little bit less and then taste it. And if you want it sweeter, then make it sweeter. That's just, again, that's
Onions add sweetness to it.
The onions do.
There's two large onions. So,
yeah. So that's my personal preference. Other than that, I love it. I love the pungent vinegar taste. It's so good. It definitely reminds me of chicken scarpariello. This is just like a really simple thing that I think is probably really good for weeknights, but I feel like it's fancy enough or special enough that you could definitely serve it for, like, if you were having dinner guests over.
Oh yeah, they would love it.
Yeah, or Sunday dinner.
And you can make it ahead of time, the day before, because it's chicken thighs, and reheat it.
And reheat it.
Completely fine. What about the broccoli?
I love the broccoli. Broccoli's perfect. Like I said, I like it a little bit on the firmer side if I'm eating just the broccoli.
Great.
So it's good. I love the garlic. I mean, I could eat just a whole plate of the garlic.
What are the scores?
Let me see. This is tough because I want to take a little bit of points off. Not points. Maybe like half a point for the sugar. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Okay.
A solid 8.5.
All right, we will take it.
Yes.
And I hope you make it. Let us know what you think. Leave it in the comments. We always want to hear from you. Like, we read every comment. Always do. We'll see you next time.